Oh boy. Stellar Blade is too young looking, some people are saying, including Asmongold, Carnage, Co-Carnage, Maximilian. There's a couple of streamers, a handful of streamers, overwhelmingly disproportionate amount of content creators, streamers that have the same sentiment when it comes to the new Stellar Blade character, Evie. Not to be confused with the previous Stellar Blade character. If you can see on screen right now, she does look very young, and we cannot disagree with that. She looks young, period. How much of this is alarming is to your individual perspective, but let's play out a couple of videos because Asmongold seems to be in the hot seat yet again for giving his take. Let's see, this is a couple of clips that would frame it for you, what he thinks about the whole situation.
And I never said this about the first game. And so if y'all got me, the thing is that if they don't change this, look, let me get it all the way out there,
Get
right?
it out
I'm gonna play this game. I'm gonna play this game. I don't think that this,
guys, he's gonna play the game, and he doesn't think that this is going to really let him say it.
I'm gonna play this game. I don't think that this is inside of the danger zone.
Okay.
This is not a pedo game. This is
okay. So he concludes this game is fine, not in the danger zone, not a pedo game. So why are we having this discussion? But anyways, let's continue.
It's in a game that, you know, weird freaks play, you know, because they want to sexualize a child, right? But I just think the character looks a little bit too young for my taste, and I wish that she had a more adult-looking face. Like, god damn, if that bothers you, too bad.
That sounds pretty reasonable to me, guys. That sounds pretty reasonable to me. He's saying that it's not in the danger zone, that he doesn't believe that only pedos are gonna play this. He doesn't believe none of that. He's just giving his take that Stellar Blade is fine. He just wishes the character looked a little bit older, and that is a complete fair take.
Too fucking bad. That's what I think. That's what I fucking think.
And I think a lot of Western culture might feel the same way. I, for one, when I first saw this, sadly, I didn't stream this live for you guys to see my reaction. I did stream it for people in my Discord. And when this game was being shown off, I said, oh my gosh, she looks cute. And then everybody, well, not everybody, people in my chat were like, Elly, she looks really young. And I was like, I said she looks cute, not sexy or hot. Like, they immediately rushed to the conclusion that I was like looking at her sexually. All I said was she looks cute because she looks cute. She looks really cute. But my immediate thought isn't to like sexualize her or anything. I'm okay with playing a character that looks arguably really young. It is to my own discretion how I take that information. Like myself playing Neverness Everness and all these other gachas, you guys do know that they have extremely very young looking characters like Lacrimosa and Natalie, and other games have like these little lolly-ish cartoon characters that are like very young looking, but I'm not upskirting them. I'm not treating them like they're sexual. Whether the dev's intention was to sexualize them for their audience or not, that's up to me to take that information how I want to. I see the little cute character like Lacrimosa as a cute little character, and that's it. I could dress up my little child and then go kill enemies. I'm not really like, and to be quite honest with you, I don't really care what John Doe down the street is doing with his Lacrimosa. You know, out of sight, out of mind. I don't care, and I really don't want to look too much into that. Maybe I'm ignorant enough to believe that everybody's going to view the game the way that I view the game, and if they don't, I don't really care to look too much into that. Like, that's their game, that's their time, that's their experience. I all know that I am the master of my own playground. So if I don't want to look at a character like that, I'm simply not going to. Would it hurt the game, Stellar Blade in this case, if they did an adult character, more adult looking character? It wouldn't hurt them, but I also don't really care for them to change it. I'm going to be straight up. I don't care if they change it. I understand that this in context is a problem with culture differences, and that's something that people are not acknowledging. This is heavily weighed with cultural differences, especially when it comes to the beauty standards of Korean women, okay? They go for the younger, youthful look. This is what they go for. The beauty standard of Korea is very different than that of the Western audience, right? Western audience are getting these, the women at least, are getting these big injections on their lips. They are getting hollowed out cheeks and removing buccal fat so they can have these higher cheekbones to look a stronger jawline. And that is very different than what the East is. The East is going for more fatty, rounder faces so they can appear more youthful. It is just a very difference in culture there. And their beauty standards are very different than the West beauty standards. So I can see why a Westerner would look at this character and be like, oh my God. But to be honest with you, this is very much Asian culture, especially South Korean one. I think it just comes down to just culture differences. But I also don't think there's anything inherently wrong with what Asman said either. He said, I don't think this game is in the danger zone of pedo baiting. I'm still gonna play it. I'm gonna enjoy it. But I'm gonna be honest, I do wish that the character looked older. And that is completely fine take to have. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't think he's screaming to boycott Stellar Blade for the youthful appearance at all. This is not what he's saying. In fact, I would play it again so some of you guys in the back can hear it.
The danger zone. This is not a pedo game.
This is not a pedo game.
This isn't a game that, you know, weird freaks play.
This isn't a game that weird freaks play.
You know, because they want to sexualize a child, right? But I just think the character looks a little bit too young for my taste, and I wish that she had a more adult-looking face.
And his personal take is that he wishes she had an adult face. A bit, well, maybe, let's go back to that one.
She had a more adult-looking face.
That's fair.
Like, God.
Especially on this scene right here, chat. Especially when she turns the corner. Girl, she looks very young, and I don't think we can deny that.
Damn, if that bothers you,
I think if you think that she doesn't look young, you are very delusional. She does look young.
too bad. Too fuck.
She does look very young. Now, the conversation has spiraled into another avenue. Lollies and lolicon stuff, where there are grown men in their 20s, 30s, 40s who are chronically looking up lolly and sexualized young-looking, young-presenting characters and going full ham on their meat to those sort of characters. It spiraled into that territory. And quite honestly, I have my own takes on this. I think it's really weird. I think it's really nasty. I'm gonna be quite honest with you. People who are using fictional characters and going ham on their meat is really weird. Like, but again, at the end of the day, that's their prerogative. I'm not doing it in my house, and I don't want to associate myself with anybody who does it in my house either. Yeah. Let's see. What does this have to do with lollies? Says this Emerald Apple. Gonna make the leap that lollies equal depiction of children equals real children. So that means that people who like violent video games are violent in real life, or people who watch horror films or listen to metal become criminals. This is the same line of reasoning that the Christian conservatives in the 1980s, 90s used for satanic panic over music and hobbies. Asmongold says, yes, that's exactly the leap I'm making. Lollies look like children. So people who are attracted to lollies would on average be more likely to be attracted to real children than someone who is not. Obviously, as shown in my chart, it's not a one-to-one correlation, just a trend. I think that this is a very bold of a statement, and I think people will get lost, you know, kind of like people get already heated with this, so they lose all logical, they lose all logic, and they just think that Asmongold is calling them a pedophile. But what he's saying is lollies look like children. True. We can't argue that. Hello. Guys, hello. Are we really going to disagree with that? Lollies do look like children. So people that are attracted to lollies would on average be more likely to be attracted. I don't have statistics for this, so I myself wouldn't say on average be more likely to be attracted to real children than someone who's not. I'm going to gamble with this one and agree with him that I think someone who doesn't find a lolly attracted who looks like a child, I think on average, those people that don't find them are less likely to find a real child attractive. I do think that. And I do think that if you find a lolly attractive and you can even sexualize something like that, I don't think it's too far-fetched to say that someone is more likely to find probably children attractive if you are attracted to lollies. It kind of makes sense to me. I'm not going to say this statement just because I don't believe everybody who likes this sort of stuff is a pedophile. It doesn't make them that because they haven't acted on it, because we don't know the science behind this. However, though, just depicting and cutting down this statement, it doesn't seem too crazy. It doesn't seem too much of a stretch to me. But I am not going to call you guys a pedophile. I just myself can never fathom, even if fictional characters, to find a young looking character, a child like looking character. I don't, for the life of me, I don't see how people can find that attractive. I don't see it, guys. I don't see how people can find that a lolly's attractive. That's not my jurisdiction. That's not my field of expertise. That's not where I want to be. I don't find that attractive in the slightest at all. And I'm not going to draw a conclusion that people who do find that are pedophiles in real life or more. But if somebody like me who doesn't find lollies attractive at all, I don't even comprehend how people could. I think it's safe to say I'm less likely to find children attractive. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. I think people like me who can't even understand why I think we are less likely to find children in real life attractive versus the lolly people. But you know what? I just hope the children out there are keeping safe and staying safe. Yeah, but I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm too old school for this. So the conversation dipped a little bit into the Frieren controversy as well, where Asmongold had something to say about Frieren, the anime.
The new character in Stellar Blade, right? And a lot of people are really angry at me for saying this. They say woke individuals be like, we love women as long as they're androgynous, have broad shoulders and a man jaw, look feminine, we hate women. And so I responded back to this. I was like, not gonna lie, I think this character looks too young, and I don't think her voice actress matches her appearance either.
Hey, first of all, what's wrong with deep voices, okay? Leave deep voices out of this.
Even the first game was perfect. This one I'm not as big fan of. Maybe I'm becoming an old man. That's just my 2 cents. Still looking forward to the game, though. So this got a lot of people mad. It did. It got a lot of people pissed off. I'm Asian. Yeah. My sister looks like that. She's 26. I don't know any... So... Here's the way I see it, all right? Pick a side, bro. Let me see if I can show. Where's the that one?
I will say, though, Asmongold lately on this specific topic seems to have... I've been watching a lot of this. It seems like he's conflicted. Like, sometimes it seems like he wants to go full on in support of, like, his idea of, like, no, this character looks too young. You're a pedophile if you like her. Sometimes it seems like he wants to go weigh in on this heavy, but then he cuts corners when it comes to characters like Frieren.
Photo. Like,
guys, Frieren looks young.
I mean, I'm sorry, but if you look at my Instagram following list, you would know that I am an expert on this. That doesn't look like a fucking adult. It doesn't.
In this specific image, I think she looks more adult. But on the other one where she's turning the corner, on this one, she looks very young. This specific image looks incredibly young. This one, not so much.
I'm sorry. That looks like a kid. Yeah, does she could pass for 19? I don't think so, bro.
He talks in absolutes, which is fucking annoying. It makes him sound arrogant.
I'm sorry, you defended Frieren, though? Because Frieren's not a loli, you fucking retard. What are you talking about, Frieren's a loli? She's a 1,000-year-old fucking elf.
Okay, I don't like the lore at this, guys. It's almost comical when people who find little character children attractive, and then they say, well, she's 1,000 years old.
She talks like an adult. She has adult tendencies. She never acts like a child. Her proportions are not childlike. She has a role of an adult in the anime. There is nothing about Frieren that is childlike in...
But that's not true, though. Frieren looks very young.
Any capacity. If you think that, you are retarded. You are retarded, and you should not be allowed to vote. If you think...
Frieren doesn't have a child face.
Frieren is a loli.
She looks like a child.
You should not be allowed to vote. That's... I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it because somebody has to.
But this is why I have a disconnect with Asmund. This is where I disconnect with Asmund. So he's giving the pass to Frieren, right? So this is what he says. I'm giving the pass to Frieren. Frieren is not a loli. She fucking moron. She's a 1,000-year-old elf, and her lore is this, that, and the third. And so he's giving a pass to Frieren because in the lore she's 1,000, right? But he doesn't know anything about this new girl. So if he plays the game, well then he backtrack and say, okay, I was wrong. This character definitely fits her because she is got a strong personality and she doesn't have a personality of a child. So that means you spoke too soon. How can you say one thing about Frieren but not the other one, and when you don't know nothing about the other one? You know, this is where I have a disagree with him. So you can't have this take on Frieren, but you also have a different take on the new girl. Yeah.
This is crazy. These people are insane. They're insane. It is the amount of intentional, deliberate, like drawn out misunderstandings that they do for no reason. What are they doing with this? This is my. I agree with Asmund. The fact that the character looks young. Okay. In conclusion, chat. Here's my take on this. Court adjourned. I mean, sit down. So here's my conclusion on this whole thing, because I've spoken to this about this already. I'm ready to move on. So here we go. In Elly's court, I find this without reasonable doubt that the new Eevee character in Stellar Blade looks young. And it's something that I tweeted. Stellar Blade, the too young controversy. I think we can all agree that the character looks very young. No cutting corners, just straight up facts. I don't think many people would disagree with this. Let's just read this without anything else. She looks very young. That is straight up facts. Denying that is delusional. If you deny the fact that she looks delusional, I mean that she looks young, maybe something is, I don't know what's there, but she does look young. Whether it makes you feel uncomfortable playing it or not is something I truly don't care about. I think people shouldn't really care either. And I stand by this. Let me try to dissect what that means. What Asmongold does in his time in his house, what Tectone does in his house and with Eevee, and what a lolicon enjoyer does in his home doesn't affect me at all. I don't care how they view this character, and I don't think people should care either. If it's a product that the developers is giving us, just enjoy it for what it is. That's how I stand. I don't think people should waste too much breath or time on this like I am doing. That's that. I'm not gonna look too much into that. I'll try to and enjoy the game, and I think most sane people wouldn't look too much into it. Because honestly, I think if you have nothing in your closet, if you have no idea process, you're just going to enjoy the game for what it is. You're not really going to look too much into it. Like I didn't, right? When I first saw her turn the corner, I didn't really think anything but other than, oh my God, she's cute. And then people quickly pointed out, Elly, she looks 12. And I was like, well, but I didn't think anything of it. So I think most sane people are going to be like me, and they're not going to really react to it anything other than, oh, she's pretty cute or whatever, right? I think most sane people are just not going to really look too much into it. There is obviously a lot of cultural differences at play here, and I think this one is the most important. This is the most important thing to take from this. Cultural differences. If this was presented to just a Korean audience and maybe Japanese and maybe Chinese for that matter, nobody would bat a lash. And this to say and to treat this like it's a small population of people is just ridiculous. Asia is a large, and those Asian countries will not even bat a lash. This is right up their MO. This is how they see things. This is let's just put that into context. If it was just shown off to Koreans, shown off to Chinese and to Japanese, they will not bat a lash. I think a lot of, and maybe I'm speaking wrong, and I'm willing to concede if there is a unanimous amount of Asians out there who says, Elly, you're wrong. Fine, then I'll take the L. But I am willing to gamble that in those countries, nobody would bat a lash at all. And to just say, and to treat like the West is the larger demographic and the larger amount of consumerism, then I just don't think that that is actual and factual information either. So we have to put this into play. Cultural being the biggest difference at play here. I definitely do think so. Especially this game being a Korean developed game by Koreans. I
think their beauty standard is much different than ours in the West. Like I pointed out that in the West, we have stronger features, stronger jawlines. This is what we want. We want hollowed out cheeks, buccal fat removal, fucking facelift here, big plump lips, everything that makes us accentuate our features way more, thus giving us a much older appearance versus Korea. Korea opts in for more rounder shapes on the face with more fat, bigger eyes to give a more youthful appearance, even going as far as to getting procedures done very early on to keep a younger appearance as well. This is just a difference in cultures here, and we might disagree on this one, but I keep up with this beauty culture on of South Korea. So like I don't know, but maybe there's a Korean out there that wants to debate me and say that I'm wrong, but that's just how I see it. At the end of the day, does Stellar Blade make you a pedo for playing the new character? No, absolutely not. I don't think so. And also, I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting your character to look older either. I don't think there's anything wrong with that either. But at the end of the day, I don't think it's going to make you a pedo to play the new game. I don't think it's going to make you a pedo to maybe find her attractive either. I don't think it makes you a pedo to try to defend it. And I also don't think you are a crazy tourist for wanting the character to look older. I think this comes down to a nothing burger at the end of the day, a situation that shouldn't even have gotten this much spotlight. I think the reason I think a lot of the reason it has reached this portion is because of cultural difference. And that's my take on it. We might disagree, agree, sound off in the comments. What do you think about this? I'm still going to enjoy the game. I could see the appeal of both petite and buxom. It makes me think how the actress who plays Starlight had a childlike face before going through plastic surgery. Now she just looks weird. I think both things are true. But if they don't change her, I don't think it's problematic to play the game either. Yeah, I don't think it's problematic for people to enjoy the game. It's not gonna make me a pedophile if I fucking decide to play Stellar Blade. It's up to me. Also, it's up to me in my own discretion if I want to sexualize the character. I'm not, I don't think, but you never know. I just don't really see a big problem with the game at all, to be honest, guys. I really don't. Why not a bad thing? Didn't we see what she looked like years ago? Why is it now a bad thing? No, this is a different character. Evie is this new Stellar Blade character is a different Stellar Blade character. It's not the same one. So not Eve. No, it's not the same character. And if it is the same character, it's when Eve was a lot younger. They did end up changing Eve before the final release to make her look more mature. I just looked it up again and it wasn't due to backlash. It was just a design choice. Yeah, I don't think the devs are pedophiles for making her. Look, guys, here's how I see it too. The Korean devs are Korean. This is what they see every day, right? You walk out in Korea, South Korea, and you're walking to the grocery store. You're walking to the mall. You're walking to a doctor's appointment. Everywhere you go, you're watching this culture, this beauty standard that is in Korea. You're going to draw from your imagination to what you see every day. You're going to create and reference things that you see on a daily basis. So if what you see in Korea all the time is these very youthful looking adults, you're going to try to create that because that's what the experience you have. I'm not saying they are. I loved Stellar Blade. I played Nika. Shipped Up is great. I simply personally wish she looked a bit older, and that's fine. I don't think you're wrong for wanting her to be older looking. If I'm going to play that by design sexualizes the main character. That is why Canadian video games have their characters say sorry every other line. The beauty standards in Korea are from another world. Pedo term has been watered down to horrendous levels, to be honest. It really doesn't help the discussion. So every time someone brings the term, it brings a whole other debate to the table every time. If anything, she has a softer face. I mean, but she does look young. Like, we're not going to disagree with that. She definitely looks young. And something that I commented in my post is that she does look young, but I also do think that the devs are aware of this. I think this is the direction they want the character to look. They want the character to look young because that is the beauty standard over there. Hey, you. You made it all the way to the end of the video. You know what really helped me? If you want to continue supporting me in any way, is head over to twitch.tv/Elly and hitting the follow on Twitch. Also, lurking really helps. Also, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Thank you.